to the Sporting Life Arkle. And at the moment with FansBet, Edward Stone is your 15-8 favourite, but he's enhanced to 9-4. Blue Lord 3-1, Riviere de Tel 7-2. Now I spoke to Jack Kennedy just a few hours ago, and I can't tell you how sweet he was in Riviere de Tel. He really was. Front page of the Racing Post tomorrow. Buy it. I know it's dear, but still buy it. Hod Uncalers is 6-1, Saint Sam 7-1, Third Time Lucky 11-1, Cur Sublime 14-1, Magic Days 16-1, and 14-1 Bar. So, Dean Ryan, there's only one place to start here, and that is the rock-solid favourite of the week that has no flaws whatsoever, Edward Stone.
I've done mine, DJ.
Oh, well, I won't start with you there. Do you know the only reason I was doing that was because I seen his notes, and he goes, I don't like Edward Stone at all. So that's why I started there. Right, come on, you blew me away in the first race, Diarmuid Nolan, with all your fancy stats. What's going to win the Arkle?
I like Henry de Bromhead's 2. I like Course Sublime and Magic Days. I'm going to leave Course Sublime to Dean when he does get his microphone sorted. But Magic Days for me, she's 16-1. But I don't like Edward Stone as a favourite. I think he's been rock solid in the UK, but those English hurdlers were kicked out of the way last year. I think it's very hard to think that he's beating Third Time Lucky, who was kicked out of the way last year. For Pleasure was a distance back in third. Wouldn't have finished third had Blue Lord stood up. Or Ballyadam, whichever one was the fella, I can't remember. But whichever one of them stood up. So for me, the form in the UK is problematic. The Irish front two of Blue Lord, Riviere de Tel, you have to respect that. But I think Magic Days will be an awful lot shorter had she beaten Concertista that day in Cork. And she skied the last 3 and just gave away lengths. And Henry de Bromhead's horses weren't finishing over that period at all. If you watch a lot of his horses at Christmas at Limerick, like a prime example for anyone that kind of wants to back this up, it's just go to Cavanagh's Corner. He's a horse. He just didn't finish at all. But Magic Days was the same. Had she beaten Concertista that day, I think she'd be much shorter here for an Arkle. She's 16-1. That run in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle last year was a monstrous effort for how much she pulled. I think horses that pull generally can be a bit better over fences. I think she could just get away from them. Henry's done this with Put the Kettle On, and this Magic Days was a much better hurdler than Put the Kettle On was. So 16-1 or so. I just think Magic Days, I think she's a cracking person.
Beautiful. 16-1 Magic Days for Diarmuid Nolan. Donn McClean, another race where I don't think it's going to be the team of the week. I think it's going to be the opposite. But the British do seem to have a decent chance of getting one on the board here with Edward Stone. And I have a feeling he's the type of horse that you like.
No, the opposite. No.
What are the chances?
I thought you knew me, David.
No, I thought I did as
and
well.
I thought I was on my own.
Magic
Days. I was feeling about Magic Days.
We have 2 votes for Magic Days.
On Edwardson, I just think he was 150 rated hurdler last year. He was his second. I know he had a go at jumping fences, he unseated and then went back over hurdles. But just his run, he's been impressive and he jumps well. But he's been winning 4-runner races at Warwick, and I just think he's a poor favourite. You can see him winning the race, but I think he's a poor favourite and he's too short. Whereas
just for our listeners here, just for the race hour listeners, it was October when Donn put Magic Days up for the Arkle, wasn't it? On the Race Hour podcast.
There she is. Watch this all come tumbling down now.
What price, Don? What price?
40-1, she was.
Bigger.
Did you get on? Did you get on?
Not much. No. 25 mainly.
25-1.
Yeah, but just on Edward, I just think Edwardson he's the type of favourite you want to take on because he's 8 years old as well. I think Sizing Europe and Moscow Flyer, and he's English. But that said, there's a lot of talk about the English winning the first 3 races and going 3-0 up, and then you can back Ireland at even money. Anyway, so Edwardson, I don't think he's the right favourite for the race. I think Riviere de Tel probably would have beaten Blue Lord the last day at Leopardstown if she jumped the last a wee bit better. And she was getting £9 then. She's only getting £7 now. The wait for age is gone, but she still gets the mare's allowance. And she's a robust horse who's down in Gordon Elliott's. He had a kind of a media day the other day, and he likes her a lot. He thinks she's improved. And, there's a reason why 5-year-olds get an allowance, which is on a sliding scale as the year goes on because they're young and they're improving. So I think she's a big player in the race. And Odin Calera, Saint Sam, the lads probably know more about them, but I think they could both be players. Saint Sam, I wouldn't mind seeing him stepping up and trip maybe for the Turners, although that's turning into a mad race now. But just on Magic Days, just a lot of what Diarmuid said, I fully agree with it. The race she ran in the Mayor's Novices Hurdle last year, it was an unbelievable race because that Mayor's Novices Hurdle, it's always a race in which the winner comes from the back. They go a million miles an hour, and it's the hold-up horses who usually come to the fore. Magic Days ran with the choke out until about the second last, really. And she did remarkably well to keep on as well as she did to finish second behind Tell Me Something Girl, her stable companion who came from the rear. And she was really impressive winning on her debut. Or sorry, not on her debut. She went to Galway on her first run over fences, and she got outstaged. But that was 2.25 miles, 2 miles, 2.5 furlongs on soft ground at Galway, so you can allow her that. She was very good the next day at Cork. And just what Diarmuid said, the race against Concertista, she just didn't really get into rhythm early on. She made a couple of mistakes, and it wasn't her running. And even so, she's only beaten a length and a half or so by Concertista. Jeremy's Flame was second, and she's gone out and enhanced the form since as well. So there's a lot to like about that form. She hasn't run since then, which kind of would be a bit of a concern, but Henry seems to be very, very happy with her. She goes well fresh, and she jumps really well. Her style of racing, that forward-going style, it's way better suited to an Arkle than a Mares Novices hurdle. And yeah, I think 14 to 1, 16 to 1, I still think it's too big.
Excellent.
Yeah.
There we go. A ring endorsement for Magic Days. Dan, overall, FansBet prices here. 9 to 4, Edward Stone, am I right?
Yeah, 9 to 4, Edward Stone.
Good value?
Not really.
Okay.
I think he's beat third time lucky. Probably his standout performance. Is he really the standard we need to win an Arkle? I think Riviere de Tel is probably the horse we can set the clock by in this race. And I think Blue Lord got an unduly hard time for beating her. And I think he was probably inconvenienced by coming there, winning a free-runner race. I think half the fences were already doled out. I think it was, under the circumstances, a truly run race, and he had to prove himself in very different conditions to what he had been doing previously. Now, he wasn't a tip-topper over hurdles. He was beaten by Bollinger and appreciate it. He's not a Fernie Hollow, but without him, I don't think you need to be of that ilk to win this, and Willie's won this race with Duke de Geneva. You don't need to be an absolute standout to win this, and I think this is the kind of race he's setting up in a similar vein. I think he's a very good jumper. I think he'll sit off what is going to be a very strong pace. Magic Days is going to play a part in that. Riviere de Tel, we know she's very headstrong. She'll go forward. God help us if Four Pleasure runs here, which they tend to run him. Remember the Supreme, he just bolts off a million miles an hour. St. Sam was very precocious. He goes forward. So we could have a real bust-up. And I know being prominent in Arkle normally suits, but I wonder if this time Blue Lord might just pay to sit in, and he'll be able to have a very strong pace he can sit off. I think perhaps we're looking at a Willie Mullins trained novice, 3 from 3 over fences, won a grade 1, and he's 3 to 1. I just think we may be looking at the obvious here and maybe ignoring it.
I can see now why you got to the final of that tip star. That was very impressive, I have to say.
Very good,
You're like an old pro there up at the table. Dean, Edward Stone. He ticks all the boxes. He looks rock solid. Do you fancy him?
No, I'm dead against it, DJ.
Read out the first few lines there.
Yeah, okay, so look.
What's the first line?
No, do you know what? Actually, I'm wrong. Do you know what? My notes here say that 8-year-olds in the Arkle are a bad thing, right? Moscow Fly, I think, was the only one to do it. But I just peeked to note a little look here. And he's got size in Europe down as an 8. Was he 8 years old in 2010? Yeah. There's 2 of them, DJ. I apologise.
It's okay.
So Moscow Flyer...
I haven't actually said it yet, so you didn't need to apologise.
Well, Moscow Flyer and Size in Europe have done it, right? Edward Stone wouldn't even be in the same parish, like they're not even comparable. I think he's a terrible favourite. His Cheltenham record is 6.55. They shouldn't even be running in the Arkle. They go somewhere else, do something
He's
else.
a different chaser than he was a hurdler, though.
Yeah, no, I can't have him at all. And the price is everything, right? What is he, 15 to 8 favourite here? Good luck with that if you're going to get involved. I don't think he's the one at all. There are connections in the audience, I think, of Course Sublime, and this is the race that they have to go for. And if they don't mind, I might ask them if there's a nod from the corner. I can't tell.
Oh, we'll ask in a minute. Don't worry.
No problem.
Yeah.
I'll make the case. From a hurling perspective, I think he's the best hurler in the field, for sure. If you remember preview nights of many years ago, everyone's saying he's the best workhorse I've ever had down at the yard.
He done who napped him on this
Yeah,
preview.
absolutely. A lot of people would have been involved in champion hurdle tilts, and before that I think they went for the Triumph. So they've gone grade 1, grade 1.
I backed him in the Triumph.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
Oh, he had to.
Look, this is the opportunity, right? This is the Arkle that doesn't have a star in it. There is one. It is Course Sublime. This is the day in the sun. This is the race you have to go for. The Grand Annual will be much harder to win, I think. The mark looks okay, and if you go there, he's obviously got a clear chance in that race. But this horse now has done a bit of switcheroo, but we're in a position now where I think Course Sublime can go to the Arkle, comes off the back of a win at Gowran. Rachel will probably ride. I'd be very, very keen at double figures. We just need the connections who are here to give us the nod.
Right, there's a big light shining here, right, that makes my face look a lot fatter than it is. But Chris Jones is in the crowd there somewhere. Chris, how is Course Sublime?
He seems great. He's delighted with him. I think you asked me earlier. We haven't made a decision. I think you're right. He was Triumph Hurdle. He's a talented horse. He's a high-class horse. I think he's definitely a better chaser than he was a hurdler. He jumps the fence really well. We always felt that. So listen, we won an Arkle before. I'd love to win an Arkle. We've won a Grand Annual before. I'd love to win a Grand Annual.
You're not helping us here, Chris.
Prefer to win an Arkle. So, but genuinely, we haven't decided. I just want to get another week under our belt, and then when we have to make a decision, we will.
And if it was 51-49, what would that 51 be?
Listen, personally, I'd go for the Arkle all day.
Roll the dice.
But my son is on my right. He'd go for the Grand Annual. So,
The Grand Annual it is, so.
listen, we'll see.
Well, listen, whatever race he goes for, the very, very best of luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be cheering you on. Right, boys. Mikey, Hawthorne Colour is the horse. We don't really know how good he is because he fell quite early in the Irish Arkle. Willie is St. Salmon here as well, and Blue Lord obviously won the Irish Arkle. Where are we with Willies in this race? Are they all kind of middling, or is there one standout performer, do you think?
Yeah, I don't think. I wouldn't think there's. I wouldn't think there's any real.
You just forgot how to speak there.
I was very impressed with Darren. That was serious, and it was great.
His name is Dan.
We'll take it. Hey, look, there's about 5 of us on this panel with our name
What's
begins
your
with
name?
D.
Sorry. It's tough. Dan.
Close enough.
He's gonna. He'll keep you and Don on your toes.
Oh, yeah?
He will. I whispered that to David, but I wouldn't have any willies in these, and I was thinking I picked out Course Sublime as well. I love. I like him. I love the going heavy ground, and I just don't think. Gordon's mare, she looks big and weak, and I just wondered did she get a couple of hard races, and it's an open Arkle. 2-1 is too short for Edwardstone for me, but that'd be my one. But I don't think they're not the A team in Willies now.
Okay. Was Fernie Hollow was the bomb, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Appreciated. Sure, he would have had appreciated as well in Fernie Hollow. They were first and second favourites at the start of the year.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that, Mikey. David, do you like any Willies, or is there something else? Is there any love for Edwardstone at all? Like I think Edwardstone is by far the most likely winner.
Yeah, but it's easy to get carried away with English, the go gallop, and they get spread out a lot. In Ireland, the go gallop, you've seen it with Riviere de Tel, and you know that looked like a good race. I think in England they can cut up and they can win by 20 lengths, and the distances can be crazy. And you think this has to be an airplane. Generally, when an Irish horse comes over, it just shows that they're not. Blue Lord, I really fancied him against Riviere de Tel. Thought she ran a cracker. I think she's a very good, solid mare. She got £13 off of Fernie Hollow as a 4-year-old at Christmas. Didn't beat him. It was a great run. She got £9 the next day off of Blue Lord. Possibly should have been a close race anyway. I don't think she's going to improve for those two growlers, and she's only getting £7 the next day. I can't see it. I think Blue Lord is a bit better than he was in Leopardstown. I really fancied him to beat Riviere de Tel easy. He's a real good jumper, and hopefully he kind of gets a bit of a spin around like Footpad. I think he's a similar sort of horse. I wouldn't be backing him for a champion chase next year or anything, but I think if he drops in and something does go a good gallop like Riviere de Tel and a few of the others, I think he'll be there to pick up the pieces.
Okay, interesting. So a lot of love for Cur Sublime. We've Magic Days, Blue Lord, and it sounds like Edwardstone is one of the lays of the week, but I actually fancy him. So there you go. That is the 2022 Sporting Life Arkle.